All right, here we go. Today we have Robert O'Neill, the Navy SEAL who killed Osama bin Laden, the architect of the September 11th attacks, which is the deadliest terrorist attack in history on U.S. soil that killed 3,000 people. Thank you for your service.
I appreciate having me, Vlad. Thank you. I'm glad we made this work, and thank you for that.
Yeah, absolutely. It's your first time. I want to start at the very beginning. So born and raised in Montana.
Butte, Montana, yes.
Okay. And how'd you grow up? Both parents, single parent?
My parents got divorced at an early age, but because of the size of Butte, Montana, they've always lived within a mile of each other. And regardless of how they got along, they always made it seem like they got along to us. So that was cool. So it was like, it started off with, I lived with my mom weekends with dad. And then when I got into high school, I moved in with my dad because he was a college basketball player and I wanted to play basketball in college too. So we lived together for the whole time. And he's been basically my best friend ever since.
Okay. So in high school, junior high, were you a relatively good kid or did you get in trouble, get arrested?
Well, no, I was good, I think. The only issue is my mom was actually my math teacher in junior high and high school. So when I have a tendency to tell stories and try to make fun and keep light, I think that if people are happy, they'll work harder. So I'm the guy telling jokes. So, but the thing is, if I told the joke in my mom's class and she got pissed, she was still pissed at home. So that's the only trouble I got into. And I was relatively good.
Now, in terms of your family, were they military people at all?
No, there was no. My grandfather on my dad's side was in the Navy in World War II, but there wasn't a big military family. I was never going to join the military. That wasn't even an option. We enjoyed war movies and stuff like that. Like we'd watch Hamburger Hill, Heartbreak Ridge, and Full Metal Jacket and all that stuff. But it was never me. I was never a tough guy.
Okay. Well, in high school, you get dumped by a girl.
Yep.
And that actually made you...
college. I did make it to play college basketball.
Okay.
Which Montana Tech, which is good for a 6-foot white guy, so it's still pretty good. And I got dumped during the season. I was like, you know what? It is, and it's a common thing where, and I've been all over the country at an early age, and I've seen people say that I just got to get out of here. It's just time to get out. It doesn't matter if it's in Butte, Montana, Fredericksburg, Virginia, San Diego. People always say, I just got to get out of here. That was my I just got to get out of here moment. And the easiest way to leave Butte, Montana was to join the Marine Corps. That's it.
Okay. Well, you went to go join the Marine Corps, but you ended up joining the Navy.
Yes.
Okay.
Which is also very common. People go to join the Army, end up in the Air Force.
Aha.
And that's just one of those things where if you want to make God laugh, tell him your plan, because something else is going to happen. The only time the perfect plan exists is when you're planning. But what's cool about this, though, is I've told my kids about like the butterfly effect. If that Marine recruiter was not at Arby's that Wednesday morning at 11:30, you wouldn't be alive because I would have joined the Marine Corps. But he was literally out to lunch. I'm in a hurry. And the only reason I went to see the Navy guy was because two guys I grew up with, Ben and Jim, always wanted to be Marines. And as soon as they graduated 2 years ahead of me in high school, they went to the Marine Corps together. But when they came back, they told me a joke that said, the Marine Corps is actually part of the Department of the Navy. It's just the men's department. And so that's funny. And I went into the Navy guy because if anyone will know where he is, he will, right? So I said, hey, where's the Navy? Where's the Marine? And the recruiter, sharp dude, and he's wearing anchors and khakis, which means he's a Navy chief, which chiefs run the Navy. Clever. And he said, well, why do you want I said, I want to be a sniper. You know, I'm a hunter. Marines have the best snipers in the world. He said, look no further. We have snipers in the Navy. Just, you got to be a SEAL first, but sign right here, no big deal. And I was only smart enough to get in writing that I would be allowed a chance to get into SEAL training. And that was I learned that from an Army buddy that joined like 2 years before me, wanted to be a Ranger, never got to Ranger school because he didn't get in his contract. And he told me, just whatever it is, get it in writing. And I've stuck with that since day one. Just get it in writing.
Right. Well, so you had a plan to become a Navy SEAL, but you didn't actually know how to swim very well.
No, I didn't know how to swim.
Which is one of the core requirements for being a Navy SEAL.
Well, when I was talking to the recruiter, I'm standing there kind of naive, 19 years old. I'm like, this guy's a professional recruiter. Why is he going to lie to me? And I didn't think it was a big deal. And I could keep myself alive, but I didn't know how to swim. And he struggled. I still had my ID from Montana Tech because I joined in what's called the delayed entry program. And it took about 5 months from joining to leaving, so I could go up with my ID and use their pool. And I went in there one day I'll just teach them how to swim. Standing in front of this pool, seriously looking like, okay, it's 25 meters down, it's 25 meters back. I'll swim 1,000 meters, and then I'll gauge it from there. And everything was going fine with my plan until I entered the water, and that's when the problem started. And I realized that I just joined the Navy. I can't swim. This is bad. And just me being lucky, my wife calls me the luckiest unlucky man in the world. Like the way she says it is I could trip over my own dick, but I'll land in a pot of gold. Like that kind of thing. My buddy Mike Driscoll showed up, and he was going to swim at Notre Dame. And I know him really well. He's still a good friend of mine now. And he saw me and he goes, look, don't take this the wrong way, but we've literally never seen you in the pool before. What gives? And I said, I just joined the Navy. I'm going to be a SEAL. And he goes, oh, not like that. You're not. And then he got in the pool and taught me how to swim the side stroke and the breaststroke. And then I just practiced that every day.
Okay. So you joined the Navy. How long after you joined do you actually go for SEAL training?
I joined, so I left in 1996, January for boot camp, Great Lakes, Illinois. From there, I went to a 2-week A school. And in the Navy, an A school is your job, your specialty, which was 2 weeks in Millington, Tennessee. And then I went right to Coronado for basic underwater demolition SEAL training. So I went pretty much right through it just because I got that contract that I was guaranteed a chance to qualify in boot camp. I passed, and then I went to Coronado for SEAL training.
Okay, now SEAL training is insane.
Yes.
They say, what, 1 out of 5 makes it?
I think it's about 80% don't make it.
Yeah, exactly.
And what's cool about it is they can't figure out the system. It's 80% of everybody. 80% of the white guys don't make it. The black guys don't make it. The Asians don't make it. 80% don't make it. The other 20% do. And they've run studies. They've tried to figure out what makes a better SEAL. Other than lowering the standards, they can't figure it out. And I just think it's because of the people skills, because of the instructors that are there, because they've all been through it. So you're being trained and destroyed and beaten by dudes who have been trained, destroyed, and beaten also. So I even had I had an instructor. It's a weird mentality because you think these instructors are just gods. SEAL instructors are way worse than boot camp. It's like, these are the guys. But I had an instructor say, the reason I'm so hard on you is because I'm going to be working with you when you get to SEAL Team 2, and I don't want a piece of shit. It's like, that's legit. But it's a really hard course.
Right. So you're going through it, and out of every 5 people that you're with, 4 of them are dropping out.
Mm-hmm.
So you're seeing your fellow recruits just day after day drop out. And
that's where the mindset comes in, because they say that SEAL training is mostly mental, which is true, but it's very physical. So the mentality is, it's not just, oh, this sucks, I quit. It's, I'm tired of running on broken toes. I'm tired of these shin splints. I'm sick of having sprained ankles and whatever, I just quit. But if you can talk yourself through it, that's where the mindset comes in. And that also is applicable to if you see someone, and it's usually a loudmouth that you think is tougher than you and he quits. I've seen it all the time. A lot of people say, well, if he can't make it, I can't make it, so I'll just quit too. As opposed to just saying, bullshit, fuck him, he's out, I'm staying.
Yeah, I remember I took a trip to Israel right after college, and there was a group of students or people who just graduated. One of the guys on our trip was a Navy SEAL. And I just remember how physically he was just different than everyone else. He never got cold. He always wore shorts, even when it was unbelievably cold outside. And he was telling us stories about some of the guys he was with. He said a lot of them were like nuts. Like one of them had pentagrams tattooed on his hands.
I'm not buying that.
No? Okay, well, that's what he was telling me.
No.
But he was just telling me everyone was just very different than a typical. There was something different about every Navy SEAL physically.
Yeah, someone that talks like that, I'd question whether or not he was telling the truth.
Okay, fair enough.
I was in there for 17 years. I haven't seen the pentagram stuff in this. And the people that dabble in that sort of stuff, they either end up quitting or dying. So it's like, again, I'm not trying to get all religious on you, but there's nothing wrong with praying to everybody.
Okay, so you eventually become a Navy SEAL.
I made it through the first time with Class 208 in 1996. And then I was assigned to SEAL Team 2 on the East Coast. And the way it works, I'm a big believer in, I learned this in the SEAL teams, keep it simple. Don't talk yourself into an ass whooping. Just say, when you're done saying what you're saying, stop saying it type shit. So the SEAL teams are, odd numbers are in Coronado, 1357, even numbers are Virginia Beach, 24810. So I went to SEAL Team 2 on the East Coast. Got it.
Now, you also went to sniper school.
Yeah,
Was that part of the SEAL training, or
no? It's still not. Those once you get through with the training, so it's going to be basic underwater demolition SEAL training. Then after that is a long course called SEAL qualification training. That for me, I went through SEAL whatever. I went through a 13-week course and then a year of a transition before he became a SEAL. Then they'll send you to different schools, different specialties, and that's where you start your progression as far as advancing. Now the pipeline is good where you get static line jumping, free fall. Then you get to your SEAL team. And before that, though, we would have to go to that school, free fall and the free fall jump master, all that thing. But getting school is just qualifying you for different stuff. So like the big quals are going to be breacher, and you can go to breacher school. Breacher is the methods of entry guy that gets you in a house. So I'm going to break the window, chainsaw the door, wall, blast the door, whatever. That's a breacher. Good qual. Sniper, obviously a sniper, good qual. Communicator, good qual. Learn how to talk in radios, anything in the air. And there's all kinds of different stuff from handling hazardous materials to, I went to a lockpicking / carjacking school in New Orleans.
You know how to carjack?
Yeah, I can steal cars. Isn't that cool? And boats.
Okay, so if I wanted, I wanted to carjack someone with you, how do we do it?
Well, I mean, the easiest way is have a gun and just tell them to get out.
Okay.
That's one. Because I'm a big believer, too. I call it that
is one way to do it. I
call it my handgun charge card. And the way that works is you have a car, I have a gun. Now I have a car and a gun. Get out. But like some of the technology now with a lot of the electronics, really hard to steal new cars. So I'd look for something older. Like ideally, I want to see like a 1984 Buick Skylark. I'll pick the shit out of that thing.
Oh, so you could actually pick the lock and then
pick the lock and then get behind it. Yeah, I mean, some of those is easy as a screwdriver.
So you can put a screwdriver and start the car.
Oh yeah, a lot of them you can just man it.
Okay.
But again, too, when they say like as a sniper, they're like, well, so when you're a sniper, how do you stop a car? Do you shoot the engine block? I'm like, no, I shoot the driver.
Right.
Simple.
Did you know about Nicholas Irving while you're going through sniper school?
No, I didn't know about. I don't know if he was in the Army yet, but I'd heard about him once we started going to Iraq.
Got it.
And I know him now. I've never met him face to face. We've talked quite a bit, but
he's a regular guest on the show. He's been on like 3 times now.
Yeah, great guy.
Great guy, absolutely.
He likes to stir the pot too.
Yes, he does.
Well, because he said stuff about being the best sniper, but when we met earlier, I was like, he's legit. Like, he's one of the best ever.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Okay, so by 1998, you're 22 years old. You actually get sent to Albania?
Albania, yeah, because I was at my first deployment in 1998, was part of a mobile amphibious ready group, which means you get on a ship. As Navy SEALs, our job is so like the amphibious group, for a amphib landing with Marines. When Marines storm the beaches, even back to D-Day, the Naval Combat Demolition Units, NCDUs, which became underwater demolition teams, became SEAL teams, they would go in first, find the obstacles, blow the obstacles, find lanes for amphib landing to come in. So we were on a group of 3 ships. Mine was a USS Austin, which was horrible. It was a flat bottom boat from like World War II across the Atlantic. And then what we would do, because this was pre-9/11, we would do a lot of training exercises with coalition partners. So Albania that actually wasn't a training mission. There was some training there, but that was actually the first time in the Navy that I'd heard of Osama bin Laden. Al-Qaeda was planning an attack in Albania because that was close to where a lot of Al-Qaeda fighters were in Bosnia. Mm-hmm. And so we went in there. So my first mission was to run security on the embassy. Then for a big award ceremony, I was actually a counter sniper behind the President of Albania and some admirals.
Right, because you're working with the President of Albania, and Al-Qaeda was actually threatening the exercise?
Yeah, they threatened it. That's their gig. Terrorists like to instill fear, and they don't even need to do anything. They just tell you we're going to do something that gets people scared. So yeah, they had us there, and we thought we were cool. Again, pre-9/11, so we're like, yeah, real world stuff, first deployment, this is great. Because there hadn't really been any fighting. SEALs hadn't really fought. A little bit in Somalia, a little bit in Patia Airfield in Panama. There was a couple guys got killed there, and then Grenada. But other than Vietnam, there hadn't been a lot of fighting. So we considered having a counter-sniper mission being a big deal at the time.